Hello, it is Social Media Saturday, May 27th, 2023, and social media was definitely big in the news earlier this week when presidential candidate here in the U.S., Ron DeSantis, decided to announce his, official run for the presidency using Twitter Spaces. Twitter Spaces. Now, if you're like probably 99% of people on Earth, even in the US, likely even Twitter users, you're wondering what the heck is Twitter Spaces. So that's lesson number one. What the heck are you doing with such a major tactic, major action that you're taking? So the business lesson here, if you're doing something major in your business, that's not the time to have shiny object syndrome, SOS, and say, wow, what's the newest, latest, greatest? I mean, technically not that new. I know it was back in about 2020 when I first, right here on a Social Media Saturday, told you all about Twitter Spaces. It was in beta back then. It launched in early May, about 2 years ago, so just a little over 2 years before this, but practically unused. I mean, still nobody, nobody I know. I never used it. I don't know people that used it, and I believe it was launched, as a lot of these social media things are, as a response to compete with Clubhouse, which at the time was real popular. Audio only, and invite people you want, and people that didn't even have a Twitter account can come into your Twitter space and can participate in the audio only conversation. Who the heck launches an important announcement in nowadays with audio only? Shouldn't it? I mean, there's 400 million channels on TV. There's YouTube. I don't know. There's all kinds of. There's your own website. I mean, there's all kinds of. There's in person, of course. There's all kinds of ways to make a major announcement in politics, in your business. That's the business lesson here. Think about it. You got something major coming up. You might want to promote it using email. Direct mail, one of the established social media platforms, a website. You might not want to say like, wow, here's the latest, newest gizmo, practically untested, let's use that. So that's lesson number one. Mistake by Ron DeSantis and his team, and likely his team around him, which shows also bad judgment by Ron DeSantis. Might have a bunch of yes men around him, because he certainly didn't have anybody who knows what they're doing around him to go, whoa, 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 what are you thinking? Like, sounds good, and gee, you're hip, and what, like Twitter Spaces. I remember when I first talked about it, it was hardly meant for a large volume, as this announcement proved. The stuff I read a few days ago was talking about how it crashed when it hit like a little over half a million. Half a million. I mean, YouTube videos get 80 million views. A half a million crashed, and it didn't come back on until the users were down to about 250,000. So you can guess that that's about the capacity for Twitter Spaces. So if you're going to do it with just your friends or your prospects, it's very likely you're not going to have 250,000 people, and you can get away with using Twitter Spaces. But if you're running for president and you're not one of these unknown nobodies who has 0.0000000 chance of winning, this supposedly is the only guy even halfway near Trump that supposedly thinks he has a chance of winning. Not the time to experiment with something with low volume. Now, as far as so DeSantis and his team, which of course means the buck stops with the leader, right? So fish stinks from the head down. As the leader of our business, the buck stops with us, unless you're talking about politics. I mean, they're always blaming somebody. It's somebody else's fault that came before or had nothing to do with it or whatever. But in business, we can't play those games. The buck's got to stop with us. So that's lesson number one. And lesson number two, there's plenty of fault on the other side of Twitter itself. I remember talking about when Musk first took over, and I'm a big fan of him going lean and mean and getting rid of all kinds of, especially the anti-free speech riffraff that would have, underhanded the kind of deep state of Twitter, so to speak. There's a deep state in every organization of any size: family, business, community, a church, a political group, a company, anything, of course. And the Twitter, if he had let it stay, the deep state might have sabotaged all kinds of stuff for him. But he did get rid of tons of people. And I remember some of the talk at the time. Wow, there must be some kind of parachuting going on, because, oh yeah, some kind of glider going overhead, and somebody, I just heard him yelling. Can you get that on the camera? Glider up there, yellow glider. I don't know if you can see it. I got a glare. Anyway, so yeah, so Elon Musk got rid of all these engineers and figured, I don't know what he was thinking, even suggesting / allowing this major announcement to be happening on Twitter Spaces. If you are going to do anything with your website with a big launch, and when it comes right down to it, Twitter is a website or an app, you know that for anything major, any kind of big launch where you're expecting a lot of traffic, it's going to crash unless you up the server capacity and get enough tech people on board, have redundancy in multiple platforms ready to go. I mean, heck, I've hosted over 600 in-person events for business owners and entrepreneurs. I know enough to have backups, backup power sources, backup, microphones. Even you go to an event, have a spare pen. I mean, come on now. So, big mistake of Twitter there. So both of these, at least temporarily, losing a lot of face, and rightly so. Twitter, looks like a joke. Can't handle even more than 500,000 people on the platform at once on this whatever the heck Twitter Space thing is. I mean, I even wonder how much longer that's going to be around. I have a feeling that might be like Bud Light and some other brands that have made some pretty big screw-ups recently and will never recover. Twitter Spaces, if you ask me, will never recover. And Twitter will quietly announce in the near future that thing is gone. But big mistake by Elon Musk to think that, wow, this will bring a lot of, eyeballs to Twitter Spaces. Well, yeah, but if you're not prepared with the technology and the support, it's a big risk. And same thing for DeSantis. So a lose-lose all around, and the business lesson is, don't be that guy. Don't do that. Don't take business is already risk. Politics risk, business risk. Like, we got enough risks, don't we? We don't have to take silly risks with untested technologies when we're doing something important. Test with a minor part of your advertising or marketing budget. You got a successful ad that's running. Well, take 90% of the dollars and keep running that ad, and test with 10% of the dollars to check out something new, or make a minor announcement on something new and untested, unproven, like Twitter Spaces. Like, don't do something major there. Come on, folks. So hopefully, as business owners, that's the lesson you learn. If you have others, I know there's more. I'm not talking about them all here, but feel free to drop me a line or drop me a comment wherever you're reading this, watching it, listening to it. I always love to see the reactions, responses from the people. And that's it. That'll do it for Social Media Saturday. I can see, I got a glare, so I see a bunch of people here. I'll just say thank you to everyone that's here, everyone watching on the replay, and thanks for all the likes and follows and subscribes and tweets and retweets and this and that and shares and whatever they call them on all platforms this is on. So that'll do it for Social Media Saturday, May 27th, 2023. Thanks for being here today, and I will be back to say hello, and I do have a business lesson to share with you tomorrow on Sunday Fun Day. I will catch you then. Over and out. Bye-bye.